Hey, welcome back to James Hates Everything. Sit back, relax, grab a drink, because today we have something to celebrate. That's right, after more than 40 years, it has finally happened. We are talking about Masters of the Universe, Dragon Pearl of Power. But before we get into that, we've got to go back and look at how it all began. That's right, we're going back to 1982. When Mattel changed the toy aisle forever with its Conan-inspired toy line.
He-Man. Who's the big guy with the muscles?
He's He-Man, the most powerful man in the universe. Skeletor is his enemy.
He-Man. Here's He-Man, Skeletor, and Castle Grayskull. You have to put the castle together.
You're doomed, He-Man.
Oh, yeah? Watch this action, Dad. Now I have the power.
He-Man and Skeletor each sold separately. Castle Grayskull also sold separately from the Masters of the Universe collection from Mattel.
He-Man, Skeletor, Castle Grayskull all became household names thanks to Masters of the Universe and the included mini comics with the toys that built out this rich storyline for the Battle of Eternia. By the end of that year, DC Comics had released a full comic line expanding on that universe. And later in 1983, Filmation would change the face of cartoons. By 1985, Masters of the Universe had reached the height of its popularity. It spun off a girls' show and toy line, She-Ra, the Princess of Power. In 1987, Dolph Lundgren starred in the major motion picture, which quite frankly let down most He-Man fans. But the IP began to peter out. The popularity began to die. Mattel tried to revive the toy line in the very late 80s, early 90s with a futuristic look at Masters of the Universe, with He-Man and Skeletor now in space and looking quite different from their original cartoon and toys that we grew up with. By the 2000s, a vintage-inspired toy line called 2000X was launched to try to revive the toy line. And while it was inspired by those original cartoons and comics, it wasn't quite the toys that were remembered. By 2008, Mattel had tapped into the vintage Masters of the Universe origin line, and He-Man's popularity began to come back as nostalgia was passed on from fathers to sons and daughters. And today, He-Man might be more popular than ever, with a new major motion picture in the works set to release in 2026. And that brings us to today's announcement that Mattel has joined forces with Limited Run to release the first of its kind Masters of the Universe video game. Masters of the Universe, Dragon Pearl of Power, borrows from an original story from Filmation, The Dragon Invasion, in which Skeletor gets his hand on the Dragon Pearl, uses it to entrap Evil-Lyn to amplify his powers, grow 2 times in size in order to take on He-Man. Finally, the kid in me that grew up in arcades, that grew up with 8 and 16-bit video games, and the classic toys of the era like He-Man and Masters of the Universe, is finally getting that dream mix. Can't believe out of all the IP over the years that He-Man has been a part of, whether that's bed sheets, toothpastes, rocking horses, big wheels, bikes, toys, art, posters, never having an official video game was always a giant gap, and today it is being filled. And it's not just being filled by any old company. Mattel and Limited Run have joined up with Bitmap Bureau, one of the most successful software game development companies that is embracing this modern retro vibe. Most notably, they're on the verge of releasing Terminator 2D No Fate. Really brings back those classic Terminator video games from the Sega Genesis, even in the arcade, in a modern look but still embracing that nostalgic and 16-bit pixel style. For me, this is super exciting because this isn't just any old video game that Masters of the Universe is bringing to us. It is a beat 'em up, the classic style that works so well with Masters of the Universe. He-Man armed with his sword, his trusty steed Cringer. You've got Teela, you've got Man-at-Arms, you've got Evil-Lyn, Skeletor, a whole cast of characters for He-Man and his friends to, quite frankly, pound their way through, hack and slash from level to level. I am super excited that we are finally getting this game. As you can see, it is everything we can dream of with these huge sprites. We're not talking the little sprites of some of these older or less inspired beat 'em ups. We are talking big scale, modern power, yet that nostalgic vintage feel. I am so excited for this. I can't wait. So here's the deal. It's coming from, as I mentioned, limited run games, which means you will be able to get a physical copy of this. The game is scheduled to release in 2026 with pre-orders for the physical edition from limited run coming in early 2026. Now, you guys know limited run. Typically, you're not going to get these things in any kind of swift fashion. So you're probably looking at the better part of a year to get the physical copy. So we're probably going to end up double dipping in order to play this earlier. I hope it features online play because this day and age, beat 'em ups just really have to have that online multiplayer experience. But I can tell just from looking at this and this small clip in this preview that premiered today and the official announcement from Mattel that this is going to scratch that nostalgia bone. And I know that Bitmap Bureau involved, we are going to get a great game and great gameplay experience. And it looks like they've treated it the way it needs to be treated. It looks like that classic Filmation style. You can see the art painted backgrounds along with those pixel graphics of the characters that really look like they came right off the television and right out of that cartoon. We're sitting now here in 2025, the 40th anniversary of She-Ra, the Princess of Power. We're just off a few years of the 40th anniversary of the Masters of the Universe themselves, and it is about time, and I cannot wait. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe. It really does help the channel. And I know roughly 53 to 57% of you are not currently subscribed. And if you want to support the channel, a free way to do that is to just hit that subscribe button. It really does help us out. So until next time, have fun.